Starting with a lump of clay, you are going to squeeze it, roll it, and hit it until you have a ball of clay. Then you are going to tap it into your board, pressing it down until you have a nice even slab. Make sure you are flipping your clay over every couple of times you hit it so that it does not get stuck to your board or get too thin. Next, you are going to cut it into the shape that you want. I am going to cut mine into a square, so I'm starting with a straight edge, and then I'm going to use this piece of cardboard to cut all of my other edges straight. If you are doing a circular board, you can use a cup to trace, and if you are doing a different shape board, you can either freehand it or draw it out and cut it on paper to create your template. Now that you have the very base of your tic-tac-toe board, we can move on to creating the lines. If you want raised lines for your board, you are going to take a small amount of clay and roll it out into a long, skinny snake. This is called rolling a coil. Make sure you are using your entire hand while you roll, and you are taking your time to keep your coil nice and even. Then measure it out against your board to the size you want and cut your coils to create your tic-tac-toe board marks. You can always roll it a little more if you need to make it even, but here you will see I'm ending up with 4 coils to mark out my tic-tac-toe board. When you attach any pieces to your tic-tac-toe board, it's very important that you use the scratch and attach method, or your pieces will peel right off. For scratch and attach, you're going to mark where you're attaching your piece and then scratch lines into it using a toothpick or a needle tool, making sure the lines crisscross over each other. You will also need to do this to whatever piece you are attaching. So anytime you're attaching 2 pieces of clay, you will need to scratch both pieces, making sure that the scratches cross over each other. This is the scratch step. Then you are going to add water to both pieces as well. Dipping just 1 finger in the water bowl, you're going to wet the clay until the scratches all turn into slippery, shiny clay. This is called slip. Now when you press the scratched pieces of clay together, they are going to seal together to form a secure and solid piece of clay. So you're going to press them gently into each other, smooth where they connect, and then do any shaping you need to the attached piece of clay. Then I am going to trim off the edge where it overlaps and continue with scratching and attaching all of my other pieces. On each piece, make sure you are marking out where you want the piece to attach, and make sure you are carefully scratching and adding enough water to make slip and attaching your pieces. I am also going to have to measure out pieces to go in between, and you can make sure you are smoothing your pieces all together so they look solid. As long as you are scratching and attaching to your base, your pieces that are raised should smooth together without any trouble. The last step to finish up my board is that I want to give it a border. So I am rolling a much thicker coil, wrapping it around the edge, and then smoothing it into my base. Because I am smoothing in from the edge, I can get away without doing the scratch and attach method, because I am going to carefully smooth the base and the edge together on both the front and the back of my tic-tac-toe board. Finally, no matter what shape you make your tic-tac-toe board, you always have the option to draw your lines in. Using a clay tool, I am going to just mark out the boxes for my tic-tac-toe board here. If you choose this option, you may want to use a ruler or piece of cardboard to make sure your lines are more even and straight than mine are here.